All right, guys, so this is a typical day at the X-Ring.
What
We
up,
got
everybody?
Rick over here. He's over here reloading. Got the fan on. We got Matt. We got rifle goodness going on here, moving out scopes. We got another one right in here. That's kind of what we do. So getting ready to head out to the range here in just a second, do some 100-yard zeros. Matt's got his new 7-35 Night Force with the Trimmer 3. He's all excited. We've got a pretty exciting episode for you today. We're going to be shooting a 6-arc bolt gun by Desert Precision Gun Works. Big shout out to Kenneth E. for building this up. It's not what he thinks it is because I've got some surprises along the way. All right, guys, so we don't have time to set a camera down here because we're trying to beat some rain. But basically, I'm going to shoot the 3 on the left, and then we'll have Rick in the middle, and then Pierce on the right. So we'll be at 100 yards. I'll let you guys see downrange. They're all the way over here in this location, and we'll see how it all turns out. All right, guys, so before we get started, what we want to talk about is this rifle that I had Eagle Eye Precision build up for me. Now, we started off with a Bighorn TL3 Action. I know you guys are like, what the heck? Even Kenny hasn't seen this yet. And then what we did is we put on a Bartlein. This is a 30-inch heavy Palma Contour. It does have the Harrell's brake on it. That's probably going to come off. I might end up shortening the barrel just a little, I'm not sure. But guys, take a look at this XLR chassis. This does have all of the weights. This is the XLR Envy JV. It does have the thumb rest on here with the vertical grip. You know, some people don't like this, but I'm going to tell you, this is probably the best feeling chassis system that I've ever felt, okay? And I started off years ago using the McCree Precision. It was just too blocky. Then you had all these other companies come out, and I'm not saying anything bad about them. You know, you had Cadex and all these other ones. And then I tried the MDT. No doubt, an MDT is a very popular chassis, but when you hold this XLR, it feels like you're holding something substantial. The machining is great on it. Love the bridge over the top. For shooting where you've got your hand over the top, you don't have to worry about hitting that barrel. And this is chambered in 6mm arc, okay? So I already know, based on load development that Kenny did, the Hornady 6mm arc factory ammo through here is not achieving the velocity, nor is it achieving the accuracy that we really want out of this barrel. I think we're going to get about 0.8 or something like that. It's still going to be sub-MOA. There is a load that's developed for this that Kenny worked up using the CFE 223. I don't have my dies yet, so I couldn't do any hand loads, but basically somewhere around 30 grains, plus or minus. Your mileage may vary. Shooting a 108 ELD, was able to print 0.3s consistently. I know he's already shot it past 1,000 yards, but really the highlight of this is not only that Bighorn TL3 Action, but also that XLR chassis. I did put the Night Force on top of this with an F3R machine base ring set, if you will. It does have the Trigger Tech trigger on it, and I do have the Area 419 Arca Swiss conversion for the Atlas bipod. So I'm really excited to shoot this on paper. Let's see what it looks like. Enough talking, let's get to shooting. All right, guys, so for this, we've got some different magazines here. We have the MDTs. These are really nice. We're going to be using 308 magazines, and that is a 12-rounder. It will also use the AICS magazines. That's going to be a 5-rounder, and then we're going to try out the MDTs. Now, there's something about the MDTs, and we also ran into this issue on the MDT chassis, the ACC. This has ribs on the back of it here and on the front. What I tried to do was insert it into this XLR chassis. It would not insert, okay? It was just too much resistance. So what I did was I basically just very rudimentarily just dremeled off these back 2 ribs and the one on the front. This will now seat into the chassis without any issues, and it drops free. You couldn't get it in there before. Now let's talk about the cartridges themselves. You guys know that kind of like the king of long range right here lately, and what everybody's shooting, you know, whether you're shooting an RPR or something like that, is going to be the 6.5 Creedmoor. So on the 6.5 Creedmoor, let's say you're using H4350 and you're shooting 140 or 147 grain ELD. Your charge is going to be somewhere between 40, 41 grains, somewhere in there, 41 and a half maybe. But then you've got the 6 Creedmoor. The 6mm Creedmoor has less recoil, smaller bullet, but man, you can spot your targets, you can spot your trace, your impacts a lot better than you can on the 6.5, so your recovery time is a lot better. The 6 Creedmoor is now also the #1 cartridge in PRS, I believe. It used to be the 6.5 Creedmoor. So you basically went from a 264 diameter bullet down to a 243 diameter bullet. This is loaded up with the DTACs, the David Tubbs 115s. And here is the 6 ARC. The 6mm ARC essentially uses a 6.5 Grendel case that's been necked down to 6mm. That's the easiest way to say it. And we're using a 108 ELD. Much less recoil, but I can still get that 2,900 feet per second. But we're going to be doing it in a bolt gun. So let's see what happens. Like I said, we're not expecting a lot for groups, probably sub MOA, but we're going to check velocity and we're going to see how we do against this versus some hand loads and this Desert Precision built 6mm Creedmoor. And then we also have a Stiller Spectre Action and 6.5 Creedmoor. So let's go ahead and get to shooting. All right, so I promised I'd get you some velocities on this factory ammunition. Like I said, this is the 108 grain ELD match at 100 yards. And like I said, we can get 2,900 feet per second shooting hand loads. But like I said, I'm still waiting on that silly die. Okay, so we're an inch high, 28.38. That is 28.41. 28.59, 28.35, and 28.30. So the average comes up to 28.40. That's very respectable, standard deviation of 11. And remember, that's just factory Hornady ELD match. The other thing about it is I should be able to get a lot of barrel life out of this. I should be able to get somewhere between 3,500 rounds down the barrel. So it's not going to be a barrel burner like that 6 Creedmoor. So we're going to try something a little different, a little unique. And what that'll be is you'll start on your feet just like this with a magazine inserted, bolt open. What we're going to do is a 5-shot group as fast as we can, okay? We'll put them on the clock. We'll just see where we're at. 5-shot group as fast as we can. We're moving down to the second row. I'm going to be the first dot on the left. All right, so our scopes and all that should already be set to where they needed to be. We can leave the bag. Actually, we're going to hold our gear with us. And here we go. On the balls of your feet, just like this. Ready?
Get ready, stand by, beep.
Uh-oh. All right, 4107, and I'll tell you guys, the barrel is coming in because that is a freaking tight group with very little recoil. It didn't want to chamber that last round for some reason, and I'm shooting Hornady factory ammunition, but guys, that group is pretty darn impressive to do that under time and to be able to go with it. Like I said, I'm shooting a 16 power scope, but man, I'm digging this arc. Go. He's at 07 on the time. I think that's it. All right, guys, so he came in right at 30 seconds, and I knew he was going to beat it just because I had the issues with the magazine. All it takes is one failure, and you're adding 10, 12 seconds. But I think this is a good drill because we're going to be able to see follow-ups. We're going to be able to look at the groups and see how they do. We'll get Matt up here with the 6.5. He's got the shortest barrel of all. He's got 24-inch barrel. He's going to be shooting the 6.5, same size dot. Let's go ahead and pick it up. That's it. That's 5. All right, guys, so he was at 33.30. Let's go take a look at the groups, see how the calibers did. All right, guys, so this is the tail of the 5 shots for time. So that's the 6mm arc. That is a very respectable 5-shot group, especially under time and having the malfunction. I had to break my spot weld. This was Rick under time, and then Matt went over to here. So that's probably the best group out of all of them. But, guys, I'll tell you, feels to me like the 223 AI. There's very little recoil. And then also, I will go ahead and tell you, you know, when Kenny was doing load development, he was shooting CFE. And I know anytime you change powders, it takes a few rounds for the barrel to get back to liking whatever it is you're shooting if you're changing up the powder. So once we got these out of the way, that rifle's starting to come in. I am very excited about it. We'll measure these up. We'll see what kind of groups we got out of them under time and see how it goes. But so far, big shout out to Desert Precision Gun Works. You know, I tell you what, he builds a great rifle. I've had him build 2. Rick's got them building. Actually, Rick had one built, and then believe it or not, Matt's got one being spun up right now, getting ready to start it. I think you're going with a Bighorn TL3 as well. And then I think he's going to go with an MTU Contour, and he's going to go with the XLR chassis as well. Big shout out to Matt. He's the one that put me onto it. I know some of the team guys for XLR. You got Chris Way and Colin Fossen. I've shot with both of those guys. Super, super good guys. But I will tell you, I'm going to give a huge thumbs up to those XLR chassis. It fits me, okay? It suits my cup of tea, if you will. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that review of some awesome rifles. We'll try to get you some more soon. Tomorrow I plan on going out to long range. We're going to take that 6mm arc, shoot it out to 700, and we'll see how it does. And especially with positional stuff, I think it'll be a winner. Guys, like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.